We got some beginner fighters here, some intermediate fighters, and some fighters that actually know a whole lot of things. I like to start in the beginning because I find basic footwork is essential to any kind of fight we do in the SC. Whether it's rapier, heavy, cut and thrust, you name it, we all have feet and we move for all of our fighting, typically. There's some ways around it, there's some things you can do with them. I've stolen a lot of things from other guys and other stuff I've really come up with on my own. A few things I've stolen from my night, who's stolen from other nights, and other people in other places. Duke Brano, sometimes kind of his classes, a lot of Sean stuff, a lot of other people's stuff on placement and where we're going to be. So one of the most basic stepping drills I like to do is like a simple compass stepping drill. And it's way easier to show than necessarily to describe, but are we familiar with compasses? North, east, south, west. Most of you, if you want to just take a stance right now, we're going to practice it in line in a minute. Just stand in your normal fighting stance. I fight typically either front foot forward or in horse, but most people fight with their power foot back. So I'm going to show the drill like that. So something to keep in mind is when we're stepping, let's get away a little bit away from those things over here, so we're not near the tree, is when stepping, we always lead with the foot that's in that direction. So when I'm stepping forward, I lead with my front foot, and my back foot follows. When I step back in the position, back foot goes back. When I step back again, back foot moves back. All right? Then I'll recenter. If I go right, right foot goes out, left foot follows. Step to the right, then step to the left. There we go. Then we step back to center, left, right. We'll step left, left, right. We'll step back to the center, right, left, and we're centered again. So that's our cardinal directions. We got north, south, west, and east, or east and west if you like to go around in circles. So the most simple way to do this drill is we start in our stance. Now you fight a lot of rapier, right? Go ahead and start with a little bit of wider stance because you're almost crossing your feet. Now, a very important thing about this drill is at no point should our feet actually cross in front or in back. Actually, in most fighting in general, you do not want to cross your feet. Crossing feet puts you off balance, it'll drain the power from your shots, and it'll cause all kinds of weird wonky things. We don't want weird wonky things when fighting. We are already fighting enough issues. So what we're going to do is a quick practice. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by going north. So take a step forward north, left foot, right foot. We're going to go back to center, back foot, front foot. Now we're going to step right, right foot, left foot. Then we're going to step back, left foot, right foot. All right? Now we're going to go backwards, back foot, front foot, step back into position, front foot, back foot. Now we're going to go left, left foot, right foot, then recenter, right foot, left foot. The great thing about the basics of this drill is you can exaggerate the steps to go farther. You can also shorten the steps to not go as far. Eventually, you're going to start learning about range and how that's going to affect your fight. We'll cover a little bit of that later. But for now, we're just learning the most basics of movements. So, do we want to try this together now? Where we can see how range and just basic footwork affects everybody's fight. Let's line up over here. Just get in a line. Nearly shoulder to shoulder with the fight. Because a lot of us fight in melees, right? I find footwork is excruciatingly important in melees, because if you step poorly, weird things happen. I'm going to use you two as an example. So, in a melee, if we're stepping in line and we step poorly, if I step too far to the right, I've just spelled my own line. You guys can see a big gap, something horrible is going to happen here. What's going to happen here? What's also really bad is if I'm too far forward. Now, I'm going to die, and there's going to be a hole and somebody's going to die. If I'm too far back, the rest of the line's dying. So we're going to do this drill just in pace. I'm going to face this way, so I'm not going to be able to watch everybody. Solona, are you in line?
No, picture.
Solona, can you do me a favor then? Can you watch the back after you grab some pictures to make sure people are stepping in line?
Okay.
So I'm going to lead it from the front. So what we're going to do, get into your normal stance, and give an ample shoulder room to everybody to the right and left of you. Give a little bit of room. Remember, the goal is to not step on our friends, and we're just going to learn to walk together. So we're going to take one step forward. Nice. Then we're going to take one step back to center again. Now, on step, we're going to step to the right, okay? Step, right, left. And then back to center. Step. Now we're going to step back. Back foot. There we go. Step back to center. Then we're back again. Now we're going to go left. Step left. All right, step back to center. And that's the absolute most basic stepping we can do. And we're with one another again. Notice there was no major collisions. We're all working in time and we're conscious of our people. Sometimes some weird stuff's going to happen. Okay? Now, did anyone find that particularly hard? Left is hard for most right-handed people. So, there's a way to make it easier for your body, is if you put the left weight in your left hip when you're stepping. So, I like to fall into my steps when I'm stepping. That's how come I step really quick when I step. That's kind of an advanced technique. For now, just worry about going. And then step back to right. Now, here's the hard part. And this is where this is slightly advanced, but shouldn't be too bad for most experienced fighters. This is diagonal stepping. We got to be able to step diagonal without breaking rule 1 and 2. Rule 1, the foot that's going the direction we want to go has to go first. Rule 2 is we don't cross our feet. Do not cross your feet. I don't care about anything else. If you mess up left, right, whatever, don't cross your feet. And the third thing is, don't break rule 1 and 2. So, the diagonal step, if I want to step diagonal right, how do you guys think I do? That is a way to do it. So, the basic way to do it is right foot, left foot follows. Just add diagonal. Because our right foot's already on that side, right? If you go front foot forward, try stepping front foot forward over your other foot. You do some weird things if you're not used to that step, which is totally a legit step to do, but it's a very, what I consider advanced. Okay? So, let's go back into the right, diagonal right. So, back foot, left foot follows. Then we go back to center. Now the one that's going to be the hardest for everybody's brains, diagonal left. Unless you're left-handed, in which case you're just cheating already. So, most people are going to instinctively want to go with their back foot, which, yet again, if you look at me, doesn't that look super awkward and weird from the back, from the front? If I do that number, some weird stuff happens. So, it's left foot, back foot, diagonal. Diagonal forward and left. Pretty simple, right? And then back to center. And that's all our cardinal directives. So something I like to do, like I said, I'm ADHD, right? So if I'm sitting down, pretending like I'm helping my wife doing dishes because I'm not really good at it, I'll just do micro compass steps the entire time. I'll step, the entire directional thing, and I'll adjust as I go as necessary. And if I'm like bored in line or if I'm waiting in the DMV, I'll just kind of step all the time. But yet again, ADHD helps in that situation because my brain's constantly wanting to do something and might as well do something useful. So if you ever find yourself just standing still watching something, you just do basic compass steps. And you don't need a lot of room. I could do it in my shower stall if I have to, not too hard. And if you got to practice the big steps, you can too. Now here's where it gets really, really hard and more difficult to explain. Or when it comes to controlling the range with steps. That's weird. Okay. So, heavy fight. We're right here, right? If Matthias wants to hit me in this quadrant here, he has to get over there somehow, right? He can throw a wrap from that way. He can do lots of things, right? Grab a sword and shield.
Do you want one?
Yeah, I'll get one too. Just don't actually hit me. Please. I'm not wearing a cup. So, quick visualization. And why I like compass steps. If he wants to hit me there, he can throw my body all he wants, right? And most likely I'm going to block most of those shots. Take a diagonal compass step forward. All of a sudden, he took a half step to a full step, and now he's in my shots. In order to counter that, I have to do exactly what he did, but in reverse. And then it still becomes a fight, right? If he wants to hit me on my sword side, he can take a compass step right there, and then that's all exposed. And then for you guys to see it from his perspective, stand in front. Is that space to be?
Oh, okay.
All right, compass step. And like, I'm not purposely grimacing. That's just because I just know what would happen if I did not catch a man doing that to me. It's going to really, really suck. But line back in front of me again. But when he steps, I'm going to step. Now we're still fighting. Now we have to do something else to get past our opponent's range, right? And for our rapier friends, I only brought one rapier because I only had one rapier. Same principle.
Italian at you.
This is just a 6-foot rapier. I don't care what other people say. So if we're fighting, the same principles apply. If he wants to come towards me with a standard lunge, his front foot goes forward, his back foot trails. If he does it any other way, or they do it any other way, like do back foot forward,
Okay, so
do back foot. He's gonna get jacked right there, easy peasy, because that's a super slow motion. Anybody can see that coming for days. But in a proper fight, come forward. If I wanted to clear range, I can step back. Now we're fighting again. We're doing something. It's no longer dominating. Side step out.
side step set.
Yep. Gonna suck to be me. He cleared my weapon, cleared my blade, gonna stab me. Other direct.
Similarly, stab at me, I'm gonna draw it that way.
Got it. Sucks to be me.
Same step, you see? I've just done half of it.
And the best thing about it, as you do these things, as you get used to it, I've told you the rules. Eventually you'll understand the rules so inherently you're never going to break them. Until the point where you get to the point where you can break the rules when you absolutely need to. Because there are times when a cross step is super useful. Like,
for example,
at range. There's not much that can happen here.
Advance at.
They can clear. But yet again, super advanced. I just want you to know it's a thing if you catch other fighters doing it. Most people are more than willing to explain it. Questions, comments, concerns?
Make them pay for it if they're being lazy. Because they'll stand there like that because they think they're being clever.
Or they don't know what they're doing. Oftentimes you'll catch new rapier fighters standing the standard pose of an L, except that back foot is very far over.
Yep.
And you go, okay, is that intentional? Or do they not know what's going on? So they widen back up the stance. You're like, okay, cool, we're back in fighting. Now we're easier on our knees. We're not causing lower back issues. Life's in the sun. But anything cosmic, anything that's not comprehensible, don't be afraid to ask questions. That's how we learn this. If you don't feel comfortable talking to class, tell me. I got the rest of the day. I cleared it for this and questions. Some fun jokes. Do you guys want to do a drill, or do you want to do something that's a little fun that's also? I didn't bring enough rope for the whole class.
This is the fun thing that's also.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So, you guys play tug of war? Yeah. Okay. Have you ever played tug of war with one person? Good. All right. You too. You too. You've done this with me a few times, right? I feel like we're doing this. So, the goal of this drill isn't to prove how stronger you are than the other person. We're not trying to just tug them around like the dog on a leash. Each person's going to grab an end of the rope. For demonstration purposes, keep it familiar with that. So, these ropes are a little long. We can shorten them up. I suggest shortening yourselves up to you're within 2 steps of one another. So if I can go 1, 2, we're probably close enough. Because that's about where we'd start a normal fight. Most people don't start a fight from all the way back here. This is kind of a rest range. So what we're going to do, take the rope in your primary hand, left or right, whatever yours is, that's the rope you need to hold it. Sword hand, rapier hand, dagger hand if you're weird. So the goal of this game is to keep the rope basically tight. Alright? If the rope ever sags, a mistake happens. And it's going to become painfully obvious what happens when a mistake happens as we go. So you could just walk at me. Eva's trying to get me to make a mistake. I'm trying to not make mistakes. And after Eva's been following me for a while, if I make the slack happen, I've won. You feel the tension. It's a physical representation of the tension of when you're fighting someone. Because the goal is to be able to strike them and not be struck, right? It is literally tension time. I literally lifted it from there. Alright, so what we're going to do is everyone just play around with it for a little bit. I'm going to watch you guys do things. Just literally walk around with each other. Like I say, you're not trying to fool the other person. The best part about this drill is you still have to watch out for all the other people fighting. The ground is a little slip. And remember, one of you has to do something to make it come on tension. Whether it's taking a double step forward quickly, taking a side step. And once the rope gets slack, go ahead and stop playing.
You got me.
Yep, do it. Keep going. Okay. Slack, slack. When it got slack, did anybody figure out who won when it happened?
He did. He got that one.
Did you figure out how it happened? And who won?
I punched forward quickly.
All right, cool. Did you two figure out who won?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, this is the, we're gonna argue with each other here. Okay, did you guys figure out who won any of the steps? Okay. In a fight, you don't always notice that, right? So if I was fighting 6, and all of a sudden, I do that number, I reduce tension so much because this side of his body is about to be blown up. If they don't react and continue that tension either for, with, or over, something bad's gonna happen. And the rope lets you feel that. That rope lets you feel when that opponent made the choice, right? Because you don't know what happened necessarily, but you do know that they did something that you didn't expect them to do, right? Like all of a sudden, it's just not tension. So, winners, who won the last match? Put your hand up. I will randomly choose you as winning. All right, Matthias, find winner, switch. Winner, winner, switch.
Go for it. Go with her.
All right. So we're gonna do this a little
I
bit
keep the
different.
rope and you go.
We're gonna start off with winner, switch.
Okay, switch.
Gotcha.
Kick each other up.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with this group over here. We're gonna do it one group at a time, and I want you guys to watch everyone else do it. Whatever you guys want, let us know when you feel like you lost, and we're gonna see if we can tell when you lost. We can tell when you lost because that rope's gonna drop. On ale, ale. Okay. And did you feel that the moment it happened? All right, cool. Next group. Simple observations. Remember, there's only winning here because we're all learning.
Yeah.
Cell phone on the field. Cool pop socket for the win. Okay, keep the one in mind. All right, group B, because it's B group now.
Step towards each other.
All right, keep going. Somebody wins.
Okay.
The grass won. The field is bloody, and thanks you for the grass growing.
I think you have to.
I think they got you too. All right, you two guys, 1 second.
Let's get on the grass.
On the grass. All right, I'll lay. Sure.
They dropped more than a couple inches.
Your action time was a little bit slower for his range, probably. So, did that feel different doing it with somebody completely different? Why? Did that make it easier or harder? Makes it way harder for you. Good answer. Exactly. How about you two? Do you guys feel anything different between you guys pulling against one another's weight classes? Yeah.
This was a more even competition than I suspected your previous ones. As far as the weight class goes. As for your reaction times, I think grass was slippery. Yeah, me too. I was like, this is slippery grass. I hate it.
Good choice. Slippery grass side. How about you guys?
I noticed the difference mainly because, like, the first time I was kind of developing a strategy.
You were thinking.
Yeah.
I hate thinking unless it's time to think.
But you hopefully won more.
How about you folks? Anything? They feel different. I guarantee your guys' felt different, but for a different reason.
I noticed there was a lot more tension on the rope than there was with the previous match.
All right, let's bring it in. Let's talk about that for a second, right?
What this? I didn't hear what this said.
They felt way more tension in their rope. There was more literal
It did
pressure.
look like a guitar string when y'all started.
Yes. So something you're gonna notice when you're a beginning fighter within your first year of fighting, you clench really, really hard the sword's an egg. Treat it like an egg, okay? We don't want to punch it hard, because what happens is when you first start, you're like, I need to control this, I'm going to drop it. The harder I hold it, the more likely I'm going to be able to stab and hit the person with it, right? I can crush it with my hand like other people. Well, at least I used to be able to. Straight. I used to be able to rip phone books in half. I used to be able to get phone books, tape them together, and then rip them. I broke my hand, so not so great. So that being said, though, what you're going to notice is you're going to have a lot more tension, right? And when you're fighting with two fighters who are still newer, right, within a year of your first fights, right, you're going to notice that everything you do is very exaggerated. You're very much watching them. You're like, I'm going to do a thing, and I'm going to do the thing, right? You're focused on, I need to get them to slip. I need to not slip. And your brain's very focused on it. As you fight longer, you realize your footwork is just going to naturally flow where you want it to flow. Only, you guys had a couple weird steps and problems, but everyone does. Your guys' fight was relatively, your guys' fight was great, but that's because of interpersonal dynamics. Everyone else did pretty okay. Like, there was nothing like so erroneous that I'm like, oh my god, we can't do this. Now here's the fun part, is you're going to figure out is you don't need to be as tense. It's controlling tension. And we can do that with footwork very easily. Oh no, that's you. You and me. Okay, so controlling tension's important with our footwork because we can do this number all day, right? And whenever you guys did that with your hands, you guys are like, meh, right? You guys had that very meh moment because we know there was really nothing there. Because we both had swords and just be kind of waving it, right? It's until we did that number with the step, right? Instant reaction. Step on me, you want? We're right here, right? So, it's the same. Footwork, it doesn't change. It stays exactly the same. So, you guys want to figure out how to keep your feet under you while you're moving. It's super hard. We'll play with the ropes again in a little bit. I know. And I'd like everybody to take a turn and try to pull me over. I like doing it in the smallest space. So, these are little step codes, right? Use them in football drills, whatever. You can pick them up on eBay, Amazon, like $20. They come with a ladder. I can't find my ladder. Did anybody here play football? Any other kind of sports?
With a ladder drill?
Yes. It's like a ladder drill, but a little bit different.
I mean, you could make one of those.
You could. I'm not gonna do it like a ladder. It's a stepping drill. So, I've said this a couple thousand times, and I'll say it a couple thousand more times. And you'll be able to see a target hit the target, right? Not everybody can do crazy backflip things. I know a lot of guys that can, hit behind their backs, throw some weird spinning shots, and they're exceptionally good at it. That is not me. I am very basic when it comes to stepping. The nice thing about these things is you can step on them. You're probably not going to trip or anything stupid's going to happen. One of my favorite basic stepping drills, and yet again, you could do this in your backyard. You throw some things on the ground. I use stepping stones in my backyard because I like stubbing my toe when I mess up. I have things that it doesn't happen with, but I still use stepping stones. Right? So, we're going to start on the left side of the cone, and we're going to start with the simple stepping. You're going to start in your stance, whatever it is, rapier, heavy, doesn't really matter. It's all just fighting. I'm going to step to the middle. Now I'm going to step sideways. Step back. Stepping over. Stepping back to the middle. Stepping to the right. Step back to the middle. Step to the left. That's it. Easy peasy. Or do you guys want the slightly harder?
Start easy.
Everyone want the easy version? I figured you want the easy version. Ben, I'll let you start. Hey, Ethan, can you do me a favor? Get the rest of the cones out before you can get 2 lines going?
Yeah.
All right, take your side. I start on the left side. Okay, you're gonna step to the middle. Not bad. Smaller steps are fine. All right, now that you're on the side, step back to the middle again. You want to do it in one step though. Exactly. It's very confusing. We'll do that one for the backwards, forwards. Right here. There you go. Step forward. No. There's no wrong. Make sure your other foot follows it. There we go. Step over. There we go. That's it. Basic basics. Hey, Eva, hit the left side. Dupre, hit that side. All right. One step, one step, one step, one step, one step, one step. There you go. There you go. All right. Now here's the hard part. You two. You can't look down. If you step on the cone, he wins.
You want to start right at.
You want to start on the cone. And I'm a jerk, so the cones are on even ranges. All right? So then start stepping. Don't look down, though.
You get to go with the breathing thing?
Keep going. Keep
Oh, it
going.
was the back one.
No.
Okay.
Keep going.
I will go.
There we go. Most times in a fight, we don't stop to look down at our feet, right? When's the last time you guys looked down at your feet while you're fighting?
That's it.
Most people, it's either never or all the time. There's no in between. Who hasn't tried it yet? Next two group?
I do.
All right.
This one was left foot forward, so I kept it left foot forward.
Remember, don't cross our feet.
No idea. I
Step
just
back
got here
inside.
3 seconds.
There we go. There you go. There we go. Nicely done. Nicely done. Nicely done. Nicely done. There we go.
I'll instruct you as needed.
That's all it is. And so all we're learning is how to approach a fight. Eva, if you step forward from this. So most of the time we learn that it's not good to go straight forward or straight back, right? Because otherwise something weird's going to happen. But if we take that diagonal, interesting stuff happens. Now we're in range and some weird stuff's happening, right? Something we experience with the rope drill, right? If you ever find yourself and the opponent's on the side of you, something bad's about to happen to you. Or you're gonna like magic stick your way out of it, maybe, but probably not. But we've already covered that if we can do it one way, we can do it another way, right? So we're gonna be a lot less stringent about making sure we know where we're stepping, so we're just gonna step side to side on this one. We're gonna take a side over, take a side back, take a side over, take a side back. And this is where I'm gonna throw a wrench in the monkey works to see you can do it, just to know it's an example of what can be done. We're gonna take it back, then we go backwards. All right? If you do it wrong, you're gonna notice it. If you do it right, it's gonna feel great. And we're not worried about so much where the cones are at. We're just here for visual purposes, right? So we're gonna go forward and backwards. Eva, can you do forwards and backwards? Come all the way forwards and go all the way backwards. Just one step. We're not making it too complicated. We got advanced forms of these drills that you can do forwards, backwards, sides to sides. We can do the hopscotch versions. There you go. Next. We have another set with only 3 steps, if you feel more comfortable doing 3 steps. The best part about this is not really a competition, you're just fighting against your own footwork capabilities.
On the, when we're stepping to the side, are we stepping 2 feet together or are we stepping 2 on guard?
Depends on the person.
Okay.
Right now we're just learning that we can step sideways. Forward and backwards. Which is the hard part.
Hi. Good. How are you? Is Alex here?
Yeah.
Always gets on balance.
Always get unbalanced. If you want to make it more advanced, what I would do is I'd step into your natural fighting position.
Yes.
And for me, I keep trying to remind myself that everyone fights back foot, and I'm the only front foot fighter that I know that's here right now. That's not also doing rapier. Or left first? Whatever your stance is. We don't want to cross our feet, that's the most important thing. You're dangerous and close to doing it, but not a huge deal. I mean, it's the first part of the class, but we'll cover it again. Don't worry about step forward. Now step backwards. Same system. Next time, take your right foot first when you're going backwards. Yeah. Start with the right foot. See how that feels way better?
Okay, yeah.
About way better. Instantly, right?
But it's not a crossing step?
It's because you're using it to fall.
Because you're going side.
Ben,
Oh.
do it over here. If you guys want to practice, come practice over here. Yeah, feel free to practice. That's what those are there for. I would strongly recommend practicing backwards and forwards. Yeah, that's fine. Remember, your front foot goes first if it's a front foot. Back foot. foot goes first. Back foot again. There you go.
So what is not an advanced retreat?
Well, that's when you turn.
And trust me, your body's gonna feel it when you're doing it right versus when you're doing it wrong. Nice. If you haven't took a turn, cue up. Even if you don't know what's going on, cue up.
I'm getting there.
Try backwards up. No.
Nope, you're back-
You got
right,
backwards. You got
backwards.
backwards. I believe in you. This is the easy part. Most people that do backwards better than forwards because they're less conscious about it.
Right.
It saves time. All right, Hannah. So the important thing is your front foot goes forward and your front foot goes forward.
So
your back foot
it's
goes first.
left or right is more
and back.
important.
So just go ahead and step. There we go. Front forward, steps forward. There we go. There we go. Now do it backwards. Take your back foot. There we go. Take your back foot. There you go. Take your back foot. There you go. Take your back foot again. There we go.
Stepping forward.
So, you'll notice there's a lot of ways to keep your balance in touch with the ground as you're doing this. Some fighters will keep their feet as close to the ground as we can, to the point where we're almost sliding our feet while we're moving. Because we don't ever want to be disconnected to the ground, right? The ground is safety. The ground is where we are. If we don't know where the ground is, there's some weird stuff that's going to happen. Most people who fight that, I can look at their shoes and tell right away if they fight that fight. Is that keep on your shoes? Very smooth soles right now too, because they're also smooth soles. So if you notice, my shoes all wear right here because I got pivot movement. I don't like to take huge steps, and I'm not a big guy. I can do it with a bunch of little steps. All right? Questions, comments, concerns?
Are big steps or little steps necessarily better than the other?
Yes, depends on the situation.
Okay.
So big steps, if you move big, you fail big, right? So if I'm doing a big lunge, if I do a big step, it's way easier to read, and if I fail big. If I succeed big. But if I just do a quick one, or a quick movement, I am more likely to have options to either stop it midway, react to what they're about to do. If I have to bail out of the situation all of a sudden, I would recommend smaller rather than the bigger. But there's times where you have to take big steps. Same with that. You can cross lunge me from that position, right? If you wanted to.
I had to. I don't want to.
grab a rapier, stand right where you're at. All right. Slowly place it on my chest. Close enough for government work, right? But you notice how big that was, and he was going slowly on purpose. Do it quickly. I'm blocking my face, trust me. It is. But you gotta have some fun in the class too. Right? So it's gonna clear my stuff. Can you bring your approach? Awesome. Okay, cool. But if he's really close, lightly in the chest, please. It's way harder for me to react. And if I was going to react and do something, again, I could clear it. Maybe some stuff happened here.
But I can react
But
to that.
he reacted. You notice how he instantly shifted into a different stab position? So instead of going for my chase, he went for my stomach. And that's why I asked somebody I knew was experienced to do it. Same thing. Okay, if I'm originally for my chest. Right? Either they'll adjust, they'll hit me in the stomach, they'll hit me in the head, something else is going to happen. But they can make that adjustment because they didn't have to commit to the shot. So it's basically commitment. If you're committing,
If I'm doing it back here,
I know what's coming. I know he's going to do the thing. All I have to do is carry and then do something.
Especially because you have to spring up, so you're telegraphing.
Telegraph's really hard. Now that being said, there are times that we absolutely have to do that. Imagine when we're on a line in melee. It's harder to notice, and sometimes I really need to kill that spearman over there.
and you can use it as a feint of I'm building up this giant thing and beat the other guy.
If he goes, hey, Hannah, I'm gonna throw a shot at that guy, be ready when he blocks me. And block happens, the partner takes it and stabs that person. And that's the best thing about it, right? So this will work on heavy, this will work on light, this works on the melee field, this works on the tournament field. It doesn't matter. Really close. And in close, it matters a whole lot, right? If he's taking large steps, I'm able to do a lot of things with the smaller steps. If I take the smaller step, I'm on the inside. I'm exerting less energy, and they're exerting more energy. But like I said, they might still win, because sometimes if you win big, set big, you win big sometimes, but you also fail big. You're going to have to choose one. I still recommend smaller steps, but there's times to do both.
For example, if we're up close like that with single point, I'm not going to do that. If I have a dagger, that changes things. Yeah, because if I have a dagger...
Hand me the yellow sword. I'm colorblind. That would probably work.
Yeah. So yeah, if we're here, the dagger is a parrying device. It's not a killing device here.
Right.
If I have realized that I can't get past his defense at some capacity, I might intentionally bind both of us out of the way, in which case, yeah. And now I have an advantage here. But if he also has a dagger, yeah, it's going to be back to, okay.
It's a weird fight, because now I'm crossed over. He's probably still at a technical advantage. Some stuff happens.
Yeah, so there are times for it, like you said. But
I in the beginning, I'd work on smaller steps rather than bigger steps. But if you want to get good, you're going to do both of them.
It's easier to make small steps into big steps than it is to make big steps into little steps.
Yeah. Like, I'm not a particularly fast fighter.
Nope.
All right.
It was awesome though.
Any questions, comments, concerns? Anything else we want to cover, go back over, know some more things about? Technically, we have another 25 minutes. I got more stuff we can learn, or we can cover other things.
Technically, the better. Anything for like pole arm, heavy weapons?
Pole arms, my blubby.
That's what I. Nah, Jose doesn't know anything about pole arms.
So,
Yeah, you should fight him tomorrow.
so pole arms are my absolute favorites. This one doesn't have a pin. This is actually the old bakery that got retired. The split crack and then so, for me, that is obviously a longer weapon, right? You might not always be able to tell that, but I like to measure my stick against every other opponent I ever meet. Because otherwise you could make a mistake, right? That weapon right there is 1.5 feet longer than my stick. Alright? Well, it had the tips.
Has the butt spike.
So, technically he has an advantage at range. He's also taller, right? And this is why footwork's important to me. Yet again, I'm a front foot forward fighter, so I'm going to try to do this backwards for you guys. So, very defensive position, right? Can me and Matthias hit one another?
He can hit you.
You don't think he can hit me?
He can both hit each other.
It's an honest question. It's, do you think...
I was going to say something anyways.
Yeah.
I think if you
Yes.
step, because you're back, you have to go like this. Wouldn't you? Can you reach?
That is actually an exact assessment of what would have to happen. So if we're both in guard, he can hit me, but he's still going to have to step to hit me.
I can't reach him.
Oh.
He would still have to.
He's
I
going to have
can
to
just.
step.
But he can lunge step instead of like doing the whole combo.
So Matthias, I want you to slowly take a step forward and put it over my shoulder on either side. Okay, now
But
put
now
it on
he-
my other side of my shoulder. Put it at extension, full extension, full extension. That's like what, 1.5 feet past my head?
Oh yeah.
If you had to guess, right? All right, back to your original position. Now move your front foot. Yet again, out of range right here, right? I can't touch him. But you just seen what he did to me. Works in reverse. Footwork doesn't change. It doesn't matter the weapon form. It doesn't matter the size of the weapon. If you know where you're at and know how to move your feet, this is going to take off his head. Right? It's at the tip of my range, but he's in range. Now, until you do the repetitions hundreds of thousands of times, and with the different weapons and different things, you're not going to necessarily know where your range is. But the first time you pick up a weapon, if you go into your max extension, you'll know where it's at every time, right? You can just kind of draw a mental image whenever you use it. And for me, I want to fight like I normally do, because that's hard work. So, I'm left hand back, right hand forward. I'm left foot back.
He is right-handed. Wow.
Let's not get into the details. So, the footwork works the same. If I want to go left, I'm gonna step left. See how to just I go right. I go forward. I go back. Because we want to maintain that same range. We want to maintain our killing range while making our kill range as hard as possible. With this person with a smaller weapon, I'm going to have to get inside of his range. That sucks. Now it sucks, like say for Aoife. Come over here. Max extension. Yeah. Right there. Put it all the way there. All the way to the tip. All the way there. Matthias, right there. Reverse. Matthias is going to be able to touch Aoife all day long without even touching Matthias. Because there's,
And that's about the step.
what, 6 inches difference in reach?
At least.
At least. However, Aoife can compensate that by simply just taking another half step forward. Now they're both in range. Nothing's going to change that. Right? So the footwork matters a lot. Footwork actually matters more to this kind of weapon conflict. So for me, right here, I can do here all day. Because I need to break his line. And the only way to break his line is to either A, do like something like that, or something simpler. And we just step. Like you could thug it out all day, or just step. You're big enough that you probably could use full, and since your range will hold this, it's going to be fun for me. Alright, max extension. Right? Max extension. He's using a significantly longer weapon too, right? Just for clarification, and yours is clearly
In my chest.
so his range advantage quickly disappeared, even though you have a shorter weapon. You're just naturally taller with longer arms.
For AA ranges, as you gain experience and you find your views for fighting, everyone has a different mindset for fighting. I'm an 8-range fighter because I'm battle and slow and I'm aggressive, so I like being here. I also like being here because I can feel his footwork. So that's one thing that you think about as you develop your fighting styles. You're not only looking for cues of where he's going, but as you close, you can start feeling. You start taking that diagonal back that he's been teaching, you can feel and just move with it.
Because
And
he's
you
going to
stay
try,
there.
if he's used to fighting B or C, he's going to try and get out. And you
Or
just chase him down.
you know he's going to get out, so he takes it, goes back that way, so you go back, and you throw on the way out.
Remember we were talking about tensioning with the rope?
Yeah.
That's exactly tensioning. He's tensioning me in that fight. Because we're here. Doesn't need the rope anymore. Because they know if I'm taking that step, keep my tension, they've made a choice, and something's going to happen no matter. You see, instinctively I'm already closing my eyes because I know something dumb's about to happen. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I know I lost that tension in the fight. And it's a thing. So that's why we have that rope when we're doing that tension drill, that you're just walking with the other person, learning if you go left and you go right, okay, well, I made the mistake. And you feel it almost instantly. That's why I love the rope. It gives you a tactile, visual thing to look at. Because it's scary. I know a guy from Ainville, a buddy of mine. He's an ex-boxer. He likes to watch people's feet while they fight. He'll watch down here. And since you can range their bite from where they're standing and where the reach is going to be, he can tear some people up. Great guy. Also vegan.
Well, I mean, case takes one half dozen the other. If I can add to your rope drill.
Yeah.
So if you do the same drill as your rope drill, just go with the hand.
Oh,
So this way you learn to lie. So if I want to go that way, I'm going to press this way and step.
yes.
So, yeah, and if we begin with the rope drill, you learn to control your range.
And eventually, there's a, what's that stretch one back and forth?
Sticky hands?
Yeah, so we're here. We're rolling back and forth. And at some point, you'll realize what you're about to lose, and then it just sucks to be you. And there's lots of ways to do it. That's the best thing I like. There's hundreds of people with different things. What I say, you might not get. Then somebody else will come over here and say very something similar, and it's the thing. It's a salad bar. We want that salad bar. We want if lettuce and Oh, tomatoes work for you, good. If they don't work for you, get cheese. Eggs. Cheese and eggs. Yeah, eat the cheese sandwich. Questions, comments, concerns? You guys want to try some other stuff? We got more drills, we got more steps. There's more ways to do things. I just do a lot of stepping drills. I have very developed legs. I like leg damage. I'm one of the weirdos.
Let's get leg day.
Otherwise, you look like a human urine.
First time I fought against
I like to do it.
But that was a long time ago.
And I'll crank them in the back.
but again,
And normally,
coming from behind, if
that
you're
stops them from
coming
ever
up-
doing that again.
coming up over here, you can
Almost
go up, let's fight
against
back.
like everything else. Or I'm going to stick them up because they think they're cooler than me. So,
Right, it's controlled
if he
here.
charges me, mass weapon,
That's kind of bad form.
I'm going to stick him. And when I catch him with that strong stance we already know, I want to catch him, I'm going to lift, and some weird stuff is going to happen to them. Because most of the time they're used
Yeah,
to
they don't
pushing
have
you
that
up.
full control as in I got
And if you got your
control
stance
in
and you're
your
right
arm.
and you get
It's
a
not
little bit
not a
lower,
wrestling
knee
thing.
bent, butt
It's
tucked,
I'm
boom.
back here. and there's
It's basically swatting people.
Yeah,
I love it. I do it to big dudes all the time. There is nothing that makes me happier than a big guy getting. I do it with spears too, because spear's a bigger lever, and that's neither here nor there for that. But you can start sticking up bigger people, and especially when they're fighting that mass weapon on you. Mass weapon on shield is what you're gonna fight most of the time. An average shieldman should beat your average glademan most of the time. Once they get over that scary, he's gonna hit the thing. And then, boom, whatever. And then they're like, oh, I can hit them 3 times. They hit me once. And then you'll get slightly better, then you'll be better at beating them because of the moves and stuff.
When it comes to a shieldman charging a shield wall, I think you and I have our favorite way, like the same favorite way of countering it as short people, which is doing this.
You just send.
Just sit down.
Or what I do, I just send a short person in the front of the row. Do you remember that, Eva? At City of Rocks when you broke that charge, when you broke that gate? Did I get the biggest guys in our team? I got you 2. I got you, Alric got you, and we put you in front, and you guys just barreled through that line because you guys got low and got in and just broke it, and we went spear, 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 because you had a lower center of mass.
I'm alright.
Get low.
And your-
If you can get
and
lower than your
female, which
opponent,
means your center of mass is already lower.
it's
again.
already lower.
So in order to, so actually, where's Kit?
It works really
She's
well.
gonna
this
toss
way.
my ass with this one. So,
Yeah.
but if you just stay
So
there's
spring.
you will get automatically lower than
Stay
I
coiled.
ever can.
If you keep under tension the entire time, it's going to be tiring until
Absolutely.
you get used to doing it. So what going to naturally happen is that your calf's going to develop and get a cut on your calf right here, and you get a cut on your thigh right here if you don't already have them. I have not looked at your legs too intently. You might be like super ripped in the leg area. You're wearing pants that I can't tell. So since I fight horse stance almost all the time, a lot of fighters will start fighting straight knee, especially shorter fighters, to try to get an extra inch, and that's bad for your body, it's bad for your form, it's bad for literally everything we do. So a little bit knee bend. And it keeps your center of gravity straight. Right here, I'm super happy. I can stand there for most of the day. There's like dudes who put on armor and stand around for 4 or 5 hours just standing in one position and basically sitting on themselves. I'm not going to mention names. I ain't got time for that because I got videos. But
Fair enough. I'll do it. I've done it.
Standing desk in your armor, play some video games.
yeah, my armor is a belt and cops. It's like
So
cheating.
the best way to train in armor is actually folding laundry.
I was going to say laundry. I stole that from Godfrey.